Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unpacking Our Scripted Lives. So somehow whenever I'm recording an audio, I can't help but continue smiling for some weird reason. I don't know. It feels like somebody's sitting in front of me or maybe I'm recording a video and someone is gonna see me and stuff like that. But anyways, with that being said, I'm excited every time that I record a video because I just feel like I'm about to change the world. Probably not everyone, but then one or two people who are probably listening to this podcast, or someone who's probably going through some rough patch in their life and they can't really figure out how to fix things or who to talk to. So I'm hoping that probably one of these episodes that I record are gonna change your life. Maybe one, maybe two, I don't know, maybe thousands, but like whatever the case might be. Anyways, if you're new here, welcome. If you've always been here before, in my previous podcast before, welcome back. Please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as make sure that you also click the notification bell so that every time I upload an episode you'll be notified. To be honest, I never thought that I would ever have a YouTube account, and I always see other people saying that, oh, please make sure to click on the notification bell, blah blah blah, but I never thought that I could actually say that on my own YouTube account. But well, here I am. And also I wanted to note that I'm going to leave links to this account's Instagram account, so feel free to hit the DM if you have specific topics that you'd like me to address for you, or if you feel like probably there is something that I should really talk in depth about that you think needs attention. Just feel free to hit my DM. And on Instagram I'll also leave a link of an anonymous link in case you feel you don't want to let me know who you really are and stuff like that. Probably you're too shy and everything like that. So yeah, feel free. Anyways, I always try my best to make sure that these podcasts are as short as possible, because I, for one, really hate listening to like a very, very long podcasts and all that stuff. So I'm gonna try to make this as short as possible so that you guys can just get the message and continue with your lives. So today I'm gonna be touching I think it's a very sensitive topic, if I could put it that way. But then I'm gonna be talking about it, and I guess I could be saying I'm unpacking our identities, or maybe I should say our self-image according to the society, or like our identities and our self-image that has been scripted by the society. I love using this word scripted because I guess our lives are just wired that way, if I could put it that way, because we're living in a world where we have to live our lives in a particular way, probably because of our society or because of the households that we grew up in. Like, there are a lot of factors that can influence how our lives are supposed to be, I guess, if I could put it that way. So for example, we're supposed to behave. I think this might be similar to the previous podcast that I talked about as the scripted version of a PK, but then this is more like the generalized version, where I feel like I might be touching different parts, and I know probably I might get cancelled for this, but then I just feel like it needs to get out there. People need to know. So so I mean, I'm just gonna be talking in bits and pieces. I'm not really going to like super details, otherwise if I really get into detail, this podcast is gonna be like super long. So I just have like few key points that I want to talk about in regards to our identities and how we see ourselves in a way. So I guess the first point I want to talk about is the cultural expectations. So I don't know, most of the times when I talk about this cultural expectations, I'm mostly talking about my culture. Like, I don't know if I should say Zimbabwean culture, because even Zimbabwe has different cultures. But yeah, we're living in a society where in order for someone, you have to have professional success. Not only professional success, you also have to have like high value achievement in your life. That's how we're supposed to be. So for example, you're supposed to you are supposed to go through university and stuff like that. That's how it's supposed to be. And after university, you're supposed to get a great job that like pays you a lot of money. So this is how the society has scripted us. So now, for example, if we end up seeing someone who hasn't been to university, or who didn't manage to finish their high school, we have this way that we perceive that person like, okay, probably this person is like illiterate just because they didn't make it to university, or just because they didn't manage to go to high school. That's the scripted version. Like, we have particular paths we're supposed to follow: school, work, marriage, die, if that's how it's supposed to be. But then these scripted versions that we're kind of living in, they're also costing, like, these are some of the things that people don't talk about when we have these things that we're supposed, there's rules or there's norms that we're supposed to live by. Because imagine now you're living in a society where they're expecting these things from you. So now at the end of the day, instead of you focusing on building a healthy family, instead of you focusing on building a happy self or having personal fulfillment, you end up having to fulfill society expectations, whereby you end up taking bigger roles in your life, where you end up getting stressed and you're not even happy at all. You end up sabotaging a lot of things in your life just because you want to fulfill the society's expectations. And that's just unrealistic. Because if we look at it this way, for example, you end up in debt. Maybe you are target. You're seeing the society in a way that you have to go through your master's, you have to get your PhD, and after that you have to get a job. And you're constantly putting a lot of pressure on yourself because you're trying to meet all those needs. But then, and also, I don't know, maybe I love to watch a lot of movies. But then I also know this in reality. Even in relationships, some people suffer. They cannot balance their work and their relationships. It could be with their boyfriend or girlfriends or partners or whatever it is. It could be with their friends. They struggle to balance the life between work, which is their career, or school, and life after that. People tend to forget that outside of work, outside of school, there is a life after that. There is a life to yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of the people around you, because in as much as we spend a lot of time trying to chase after our careers, a lot of time trying to chase after books and all that stuff, there is a life after that. You need to remember that there is a life. You still have to live. There is so much more to life than just having big bills in your pockets. Yes, fine, it's very important to have money. Money is essential in our lives. But at the same time, if money is costing you your health or your happiness, then what good is it? In as much as we have to fight, like, okay, we're running out of time, we have to get things done. Maybe by 30 I should be a millionaire. Maybe by 30 I should have my master's degree. I should have gotten my PhD. These are pressures that we're getting from the society. Like, if you don't have a master's degree, then you're not good enough. If you don't have a PhD, probably you're not smart enough. If you don't have a 6-figure job, you're not good enough. Like, these are the expectations that are set out in our lives. But then I don't think that's fair, because now, if you're focusing more on chasing all those things, something is lacking in your life. Something is bound to lack in your life, because it's hard. Most people really, really find it difficult to balance all these things. So one of these things is going to lack, and most of the times it's going to be yourself. you're going to give less time to yourself. If you're in a relationship, you're going to give less time to your partner. If you're a father, you're going to give less time to your family, because most people end up chasing money and chasing their careers, and their families struggle and they suffer. And there are a lot of people who are getting divorced. There are a lot of people who are heartbroken because certain relationships are suffering because of this society expectations. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, in as much as we have those cultural expectations where we have to have great achievements in our lives, where we have to land great jobs, where we have to have good education and stuff like that, it's also important to note that it's also good for you to live outside the box of that. Try to focus on yourself as well. Try to give yourself time. Try to spend time with yourself. Try to spend time with your loved ones. In as much as you need that money, in as much as you need that degree, if it's costing you your happiness, if it's costing you your health, then try to take a step back and see the vibe. Because most of the times we end up realizing like, oh my God, I wish I had done this, but then it's too late. We tend to, you wish that if you could go back in time, you'd make this right, you'd do the things differently, you'd do this, you'd do that. But then you had the time, but then you didn't want to think outside of that. You only focus like, oh my God, if I get to 25 and I'm not done with my bachelor's or my master's, then I'm going to be a society failure. If I'm 30 or if I'm 29 or if I'm whatever age it is that you think, then I am a reject. Or if I don't have a good job by this age, then I'm not good enough in the society's eyes. Why are we living according to the scripted version that the society has for us? Why not stop for once and be like, okay, this is what I want with my life. I'm going to get a job, but in as much as I'm going to get a job, I will also find a work and life balance. In as much as I'm going to get a job that's 6-figure, that's whatever, 10 figures, 1 figure, whatever it is, you name it, you're still going to find time for yourself and time for the people who are around you, to balance that, because a lot of people are really, really suffering. Trust me, a lot of people are really suffering. So, yeah, that's it. That's the first point. And I think I mentioned that I want to mainly focus on 3 main points. So that was the first point. Moving on to the second point. This is more like this is more like the self-image, which is like the beauty standards, whatever it is that we might, or body image and stuff like that. Apparently, let me also give you a little bit of background. So I like to, whenever I'm recording something like this, I like to give a little bit of background of myself, because most of the things that I talk about on this podcast, there's most probably things that I have gone through in my life, or things that I know that people are around me, sorry to the people around me, that I know that some of the things they're suffering because of some of these things. So for example, when it comes to this whole self-image thing, beauty standards and stuff like that, when I came to China when I was in high school, like I was super thin. When I was in high school, I was thin, probably because I did a lot of sports, and not only that, I was kind of sick in high school, so there were certain things I could eat and certain things I couldn't eat, so that kind of affected my weight and all that stuff. So yeah, and then now I moved to China. When I moved to China, everyone was just like, oh my God, you're too skinny, blah 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 blah. And when I saw myself in the mirror, I'm like, girl, you look gorgeous. But then, well, that's not how everyone else saw it. So funny enough, COVID hit, and when COVID hit, I was in China. So we were all stuck during lockdown. You couldn't do anything. The only thing you could do was attend classes online. And after attending your classes online, the only thing that I knew that I did was open my laptop, attend class. After attending class, I go to the bathroom, I take my shower, or I use the bathroom or whatever. So it was basically school, sleep, eat, school, sleep, eat, school, sleep, eat. And I really wasn't the workout type of person that I would be like, oh, let me work out or stuff like that. Nah, that wasn't me. That wasn't my life. So I started gaining, but then I couldn't see it because that was me. And then I started hearing comments like, girl, you're getting fat. I'm like, excuse me? So I was thin. People complained. Now I'm gaining weight. It's bad. So what exactly am I supposed to do here? Now I'm confused. Okay, what should I do? And the gaining that I was gaining, it wasn't like that bad, or at least that's how I saw it. But then that was the version. So now it brings me back to the beauty standards that are scripted in our lives, where we think that thinness is what we think is beauty. Or when it comes to guys, the ones that are muscular, the ones with six-pack, broad shoulders, you name it, whatever it is, those are the beauty standards that we see. Or if it's girls, the ones that have bigger this, bigger that, or smaller this, smaller that, or whatever it is. Like, we have particular ways that we view beauty in our eyes. That's how we think beauty is supposed to be. And this is also like, anyways, sorry, I have to go back a little bit. So after I was told that I started gaining weight, I lost my cool. I literally lost it. I was like, oh my God, how am I fat? Now I started dieting. I went on intermittent fasting. I was starving myself because I wanted to go back to being thin, where people thought I was way much more pretty. I did fasting. I tried to do some exercises. I wasn't happy, really. I wasn't happy because I was doing something that I didn't like. I love food. Trust me, food is my love language. Oh my God, I love sweets. I love eating. I'm a foodie. I love sweet things. I have a sweet tooth. I love sweets. I love food. If you want to get closer to my heart, buy me food. Buy me food. I'll be very happy. Buy me food. Buy me donuts. Buy me pizza. Take me out. Like, that's me. I love food. I love to eat. Who doesn't love to eat? Guys, who doesn't love to eat? We all love to eat. But because of the beauty standards that are set in our lives, now I can't eat the sweets that I want, because if I eat sweets, I'm gonna get fat. And when I get fat, I'm no longer pretty in the society. I can't eat donuts. I can't eat this. I can't eat that, because if I do, then I'm gonna get fat, and that's not seen as pretty. Guys, if you don't go to the gym, you can't have the perfect summer body, which is having six packs, which is having this broad shoulders, big arms, and whatever that is. Nobody's gonna see you. Nobody's gonna like you. Nobody's gonna be attracted to you. That's how things are perceived. But then now people are suffering because people end up having low self-esteem, because don't get me wrong, I am not saying that people who go to the gym or people who watch their diet, they're doing something wrong. No, it's good. If that is what makes you happy, then sure, go ahead and do it. But for you to judge someone else, that just because the society has given us an image. And also this also goes back to social media, where if you go on social media, you see this person who's curvy, who's got broad shoulders, who's got this, who's got that. Some of them, some of it is natural, but some of it, a lot of people now are ending up going to pay a lot of money just so they can meet the expectations or the scripted versions of bodies that we have in our head. Most people are going through beauty cosmetics. Some people are going through diets. And this is depressing, because people are trying to meet these standards. But whoever set these standards? Whoever said that if you're thin, then that's the only version that appears to be pretty? Whoever say that being a plus size person is bad? I think the main focus should be, are you healthy? Are you happy? That's what should be the main focus, not, oh, you're thin, then you're good. Or you have broad shoulders, or you've got six pack, then you're good. That shouldn't be the main focus. Honestly, that shouldn't be the main focus, because the attractiveness shouldn't be defined by how much a person is thick or thin, or how much a person is muscular or not. What should be the main focus is the person healthy and is the person happy? That should be the main focus. If you want to lose weight, do it because you want to do it for yourself, not because you think that the society thinks that being fat is not beautiful. Be confident. Have higher self-esteem for yourself. Be confident in who you are. When you look at yourself in the mirror, see yourself for who you are. Be happy. Be proud of yourself, because the way you see yourself is how others might see you. If you see yourself as, oh my God, I'm this chubby person. Oh my God, I'm this thin person. That's exactly how the world is going to see you. So I think it's high time that we step out of these scripted versions that they are in the world, and then we just step out a little bit of that and just let ourselves be. Like, let's just live our lives the way we want to live, the way we think is fit. Because at the end of the day, you have to look out for yourself, because nobody is ever going to look out for you. You have to put yourself first. You have to prioritize yourself. You have to do what makes you happy at the end of the day. I love food, and I'm never going to stop eating food. I'm never going to stop eating sweets. Yeah, I know it's bad for me. I know it's bad. But then it's what makes me happy. Food makes me happy. So I'm always going to eat. And if I feel like, okay, maybe I'm not, because maybe if I feel like, okay, I'm not looking good for myself, then I'll find other alternatives. But I'm not going to be conformed to what the society is expecting me to look like, or what I see on social media, because God, for all we know, some of the things that we see on social media, they're not even real. You end up idolizing someone who's not even real on social media. You see someone who is muscular, but then they're apps that people are using to edit themselves to look in a particular way. If you see them in person, oh my God, you're gonna be surprised, like, oh my God, I didn't think that this was the person that I saw on Instagram. Some of the things that we end up idolizing, they're not real. Really, they're not real. Feel confident in your own body. Wear your own body like it's yours. Wear it with so much confidence, and then everything is gonna be okay. That's how I think. So let's embrace ourselves. Let's embrace our beauty. Let's embrace, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether, I don't know, other ethnicities that are there, whether you're no, let me not say something that's bad. No matter what nationality you are, no matter what race you are, I don't think that our lives should ever be in a particular way, or we should be living our lives in whatever that people are expecting us to be like. Anyways, oh my God, I think this is getting long. I'm not even checking how long it is. Anyways, let me just jump right into the third part, which is probably the last point, which is the expectations when it comes to age. So I'm gonna give you an example. And in Africa, particularly in Zimbabwe, when you get old, we all assume that being old means you have to go you have to go for retirement. You have to go to those old people's homes where you're just a potato. You're literally not doing anything. You're just sitting there doing nothing, because that's how the society has made it. Like, okay, this is a certain age. At this certain age, you're supposed to have done this. You're supposed to have accomplished this. You're supposed to retire. You're supposed to have finished school. That's how we know life to be. So, for example, we are living in a world where, when it comes to marriage, I think I once came across one video that was, I think, a couple. They were like in their early 20s. I think they're like 21, 20. And they were like, oh my God, we just got married. If you're not married by 21, I don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, really? I am almost in my late 20s. And I'm still chasing books. Is there something wrong with me? And then other people think, in some cultures, they say that if you're like in your late 20s, or if you reach 30 as a lady and you're not married, then you are like, you're an outcast. Or maybe I should put it like, you're a residue. Nobody wants you. You're a reject. Something like that. So there are these expectations, or there's scripted versions like, okay, everyone by this age, you're supposed to have accomplished this. You're supposed to have gotten married. You're supposed to have your kid. You're supposed to have done this according to age. But then I think that's wrong. Because now, let's say you didn't have enough money or you couldn't get education when you were young. And now, because of the society, we think that going back to school when you're like maybe in your 30s, and we think that going back to school is something that is embarrassing because that's how society sees things. There are certain ages that you think this is the end of school. You cannot see someone who's around this age back at school trying to learn something. That's perceived as wrong. Or if you're not married by this certain age, that's perceived as wrong. If you haven't done this by this time, then that's wrong. That's just from my own perspective. Like I said, I know probably a lot of people might come and cancel me, and a lot of people might come and disagree with me. Fine, you're allowed to have a different opinion, but from my own perspective, I think that's wrong. Having these certain expectations according to age, I don't think that's good. I'll give you an example. Here in China, the old people, you never really, I don't know, maybe there are old people's homes, like where they send old people to get taken care of, whatever. I think probably they're there. But you see, most old people still are working. In China, during the night, you see a lot of old people in the streets dancing, exercising. They still exercise. They still do something. No matter how old they are, they still do something, even if they think they're old. So these society expectations that are there, or these standards that are set, like by this age you should have accomplished this, or by this age you should have retired and doing nothing. And some other, if we could all like just, if you feel like you were 29 and you want to retire and you've accomplished everything that you want to do, then sure, go ahead and retire. Why does it have to be like the old people? Because society associates young people to be the ones that are very smart, or the ones that are very useful, and the old people, well, they're old and they're not of any use. But then here in China, you see old people, they're still working. They are working, they're still fit, they're still doing things for themselves. They're like independent. They're not so dependent as we think they should be, or as they are supposed to be. They're free and they do whatever they want to do for themselves. So now, because of these expectations, people now end up, people don't want to age anymore. Because if you age, then, well, that's something else. So now people are forced to end up to go for some cosmetics or do some things that can make them to continue looking young, just because they still want to be employed, or just because they want to still be able to be valuable to the society. Because if you reach a certain age, probably you cannot be hired in certain jobs, or you cannot be able to do certain things. So now people are going to like length of doing something, of going through procedures, of going through painful things, just so they can meet the expectations of the society. And I think that's brutally unfair. So yeah, with that being said, I guess maybe I should just like summarize everything when it comes to the cultural expectations. Yeah, cultural expectations. It's these three topics that I talked about today. I didn't really want to get so deep into them, because especially the cultural expectations topic, because we have the topic where girls are told that when you grow up you're supposed to be this polite girl, you're supposed to be submissive, you're supposed to be this, and guys, they're told that they're supposed to be masculine, they're supposed to be the head, they're supposed to protect people, they're supposed to be independent and all that stuff. They're not supposed to show their weaknesses. So now there's all of these things, they end up ruining the person's esteem, because at the end of the day you're like, oh my god, if I do this thing then I'm seen as a societal failure and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, it's just wrong. So probably in the upcoming episodes I might go deeper into these three things and probably separate them. But then yeah, I just felt like I needed to say this in terms of the identity and the self-image that is scripted in our lives. go out there. If you want to eat, go and eat. If you want to follow your career, find the balance between the 6-figure career and your life. Have time for yourself. Have time for the people who are around you, who love you. Even if you're old, if you can still do something, then go ahead, do it for yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're old, you cannot do certain things for yourself or for other people. So with that being said, we've come to an end of today's episode. I'd like to thank you guys for listening, and please be sure to share this with your friends, and I hope that you're gonna have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Bye.